Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the A&C Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Campbell. And in the house today, we have ECW Original, Mr. Chili Willie. Woo!
What's happening, everyone? What's happening?
And our special guest today, he is none other than NWA superstar, Sal Rinauro.
Superstar. I like the sound.
Superstar. Hell yeah. Superstar and the legend.
That's right.
Woo. This dude's a legend.
We're getting there. We're trying.
You there, brother. You there, no doubt.
Sure.
But first, before we start, I got to, today was a sad day for me, man. And for all of us in pro wrestling, you know what I mean? It's always sad when someone passes away. So I want to give a big shout ups and to the heavens to my man, my homeboy, the guy who helped me out at ECW, New Jack. You know what I mean? So I mean, it was a pleasure, being in the ring with him, Balls, Sandman, Rhino, all those guys. And it's very sad when we lose someone. So that kind of got me this morning, and I just want to give a big shout out to him. So.
I'd like to add on to that too. Like, it's crazy that right after ECW folded, his agent, New Jack's agent, Bill Behrens, is my agent. So
Bill Behrens, really?
Yeah. So I had a lot of interactions with Jack. The first time you meet Jack, all you know is that dude on TV. And
right.
Then you meet Jack and you realize, he's that dude on TV. But he was always, for no reason, exceptionally cool to me. And this one's a real punch to the gut, man. Because I mean, I've been knowing Jack for 20 years now, and it's just like I saw this dude fall on his skull 20 feet off scaffolding,
right?
And he was, I remember he wasn't all right, but I mean, he got up, So I thought he was indestructible, man. So definitely big ups to New Jack.
That's right.
Exactly. Real quick before we start, how I met him, man, is CW and Steve Carino invited me up to a show in Asheville, North Carolina, and I was just standing by the autograph table, just standing, and a kid came up to me and asked me, for an autograph. And New Jack was standing there. He was signing an autograph. And he goes to the kid. He goes, nah. He ain't with us. He didn't even know me. I didn't know him. I didn't know anything about ECW. But he just straight up came up. Nah, he ain't with us. And so the kid just looked at me and I was like, nah, dog, I don't want none of that smoke. You know what I mean? I was like, I don't want none of that smoke because I'm in their house. You see what I'm saying? I was an indie wrestler. And then once I got into ECW, he was really cool with me, man. And one particular time, man, when he bought a Mitsubishi Eclipse, I never forget it. And he was just showing that to everybody. We was in Philadelphia. We had a show in Philadelphia. He knew some girls at the time, and I drove actually all the way from Philadelphia to Ohio, while he was on the passenger side. He was jacked up. Sal, I'm telling you, we went into Pancake House. He was so jacked up, dude, that he couldn't even eat his food. I said, New Jack. I said, you all right? And then the waitress was like, is he okay? And he had his head down like this. And saliva was coming out of his mouth into his food. I said, check. Just give me the check. Let me get him out of here. Let's get us to Ohio to his friend. And I stayed up there for a whole week, man. Him and his friends, they took care of me and everything. And New Jack was just like that. He was like that, and he can work. He can work.
It's crazy that. So one of my all-time favorite matches, and I've stole this concept from Jack, and I've told him about it. It's so simple, but he would do a match, and if he was the heel, he would cut a dude off, and then he'd yell, I'm going to throw a clothesline, and then clothesline the dude. And then get the guy up and goes, I'm going to back elbow him.
He's calling it.
You do this 9 times. Just yell the spot that he's about to do before he does it. And finally, when it's time for that babyface comeback, it's as simple as, he picked the dude up, and go, all right, duck this one, fire up. And he'd yell again, I'm going to throw the clothesline. And he'd throw that line, and the babyface would duck it, and the crowd would lose their mind. And it was so basic. It was so simple, but it never, ever fails to work. And that's the first time I saw it.
Exactly.
I mean, New Jack had the ability to break down complex things and make them simplistic that everybody could understand. And like he had a gift of the art that gets lost because you remember him, rocking out the Ice Cube and blasting dudes with guitars and vacuum cleaners and whatever. But like he was so much more than that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and only he could do that. Only he could do that. Come out there with the music playing, man, and just throw shit in the ring. Like Balls and them. Balls could do hardcore stuff, right? But when New Jack did it, it was just something different. You know what I mean? Balls had that balls, boom. He had his own thing too. But New Jack, man, when he came out, man, you knew shit was going down. And I was so glad that
it was real.
I was so glad. I was so glad I was in ECW and Paul nailed me against New Jack. I was so glad, dude. I was like, woo-wee. I was like, I don't want no fork in my forehead. You know what I mean?
No, baby, he was the best. I love Jack.
Yeah. But let's talk about you, man. Let's get into you. Let's get into Sal,
Yes, sir.
How you been, brother? How you doing?
Good, man. Staying busy,
Nice.
We're finally we're on the other side. At least we're getting there of this pandemic now.
Yes.
So, business is slowly starting to pick up, and Power's back up and running, which there's a couple months there that I was scared.
Yeah.
Put a lot of eggs in that basket, so.
Right. I hear you.
Life is good.
That's nice, man. Is this a new hairstyle for you, Sal?
Well, no, actually. So, like, a couple. I'd say at the end of 2019, I started doing a thing where I was losing my mind as a character. Like I kind of had hit a point in reality, on the shoot side of things where like I've kind of thrown a billion things up against the wall and nothing stuck. And so I decided as a character to use that, and lose my mind. So I started doing. The vision in my brain, at least, was I'm trying to give them what they wanted. I'm tired of giving everybody what they want to see. This is what they want to see. I've been trying to do it for 20 years, blah, 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 but I'm still holding on to what I thought worked. So like, this was my Shawn Michaels ponytail, but because I'm crazy, I can't go all the way to that because anybody can do that. So I started doing side ponytails. And my daughter,
nice.
Yeah, first time I was playing around with it, my daughter came in the room and she was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "That's it. That's the one I'm going with."
Nice.
And now it's just, now it's kind of just something different, like who in there, nobody rocks a side pony, so
right.
It's just one of those little things that helps you stand out.
For real, man.
So yeah.
The side pony. There you go. Oh, there you go, Sal. The side pony. I like that.
Are you
the side pony? I like that.
Are you a collector by chance, Sal?
Oh yeah. I don't know if you.
Yeah.
Oh, a lifelong collector.
Nice.
It's funny, like there's a big boom in the wrestling figure community right now, and with Matt Cardona and Brian Meyer's podcast blowing up. But like I've collected my whole life, and right before that thing took off, I had actually thought to myself, man, like I wish I could get all the WWF Hasbro toys that I had as a kid. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm an adult. I can. So I started scooping them up, and I mean, I'm talking within like 6 months of me finishing my collection, the market tripled in price. And stuff that I was paying, $50 for are now going, $400, just astronomical prices.
Wow.
I'm so thankful that I figured out that I was an adult.
Heck yeah, man. What's your favorite collectible so far?
Awesome, dude.
One of my favorite collectibles actually this is my Sal Pal. Available now.
Okay.
Nice. I grew up as a Macho Man guy. So anything with Macho Man on it, I try to scoop up. That was just even as a kid, I grew up on WWF, in the 80s. So of course, Hulk Hogan was part of my life. But even when the Mega Powers exploded, I was 8 at the time, and I was still man, that Macho guy, that Macho Man's still pretty cool. He's insane, but he's cool. And I always done. No doubt. I've always been big on guys having different gear. So even as a kid, good or bad didn't matter if you could stay fresh. That was so Macho and Rick Rude and guys like that. That's okay that they choke people. Wow. Brother's got some new gear, so he's all right with me.
I was getting ready to say, man, when I saw you, I met you, see you online and everything, and I saw some of your matches. I said he reminds me of a Macho Man, not jacked up.
Thank you.
But check this out, Sal. You also got an in between Rene Goulet type style in you, man. It's you got something there, man. You know what I mean? It's you put it together. It's like a crazy, insane, Italian. It's
No, and it's that's one thing I like. Even whenever I have to do anything where I'm teaching, I always try to tell people I'm real big on going back and watching stuff from even before my era and trying to incorporate it into what works now. Obviously you're not working a 30-minute bear hug. I don't care who you are or where you are. It's just not working anymore. But there's little elements of things that Bruno used to do that connected with the crowd. They're ooh, if I could do that and modernize it, that could work. Right. So I try to put layers of that in all my work where, whether it be, like I said, so I'm a big Backlund guy too. I'm just enamored with that collegiate style wrestling. And so there's little things that Backlund does, that I'm just man, if I put a modern twist on it, they'll think I'm a genius when all I'm doing is biting stuff from 1972, and nobody will be.
That's what we all do that. Yeah, we all are marks. You know what I mean? Everybody's a mark of everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You look at Hogan. Hogan was a mark of superstar Billy Graham. So we all marked. But I saw and I see the old vintage something in you. You know what I mean? I was like, this dude is old school, but he's modern day, but he got that old school, crazy, I'll fuck you up, type of style.
And it's funny because when I first broke in, when I broke in and started working full time was the beginning of 2000, when the cruiserweight division was a thing, and you could turn on TV on Monday night and see, everything.
Yeah.
And my whole idea, even back then, was well, what if I'm not that guy? What if I'm the cruiserweight that's the old school guy? So I was the anti-cruiserweight for a little bit. I would try to do things where I'd get a guy on the floor and I'd tease the big dive and I'd get him going, and then I'd take off and baseball slide under the rope and do a headlock takeover on the floor.
Wow.
Nice. Just stuff like that. Just because it's again, it's just a modern twist on older stuff. But it's different, but it's all the same at the end of the day. My philosophy has always been what can I do that can separate me from the pack? because like I was coming up in Wildside, and there was AJ Styles was there, and Air Paris, Jason Cross, and all these guys that are doing these incredible things. I'm like, well, man, I can't do a shooting star leg drop, but I can do a head of a snap. How can I make them care about a snap there? You know what I mean? Like, and so, you know, plus that was just such a great breeding ground of I mean, just coming up with those guys, because like, especially, you know, I mean, AJ's kind of worked out okay. He's figured out a thing or two. But like, I loved getting in and getting to train with AJ, because like, whether it was 2 people or 200 people or 2,000 people, AJ was ready to go, you know, and like that wears off on everybody, you know. If the best guy in the locker room is ready to go, like, hey man, if this guy's stepping up his game, I gotta step up yours.
Yeah. Hell yeah, definitely.
For sure. How was your training with John Phoenix?
So I give John credit just because John gave me opportunities. I was actually not trained by anybody in particular. I tell people all the time, I was trained the wrong way. Don't do what I did. Do as I say, not as I do. So I broke in when I was 13. I still lived in California at the time, and I found a local show that was running 2 blocks from down the street from me. You know, and I'm all in on this wrestling thing. I've always, you know, like, it's always been my one thing. Like, I'm going to be a wrestler. I'm going to be a wrestler. I remember telling my 3rd grade teacher, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a wrestler. And she's like, the kid over there that wants to be a dinosaur has a better shot. I'm like, yeah, got it. So this local show was running right down the road from me. And I just, you know, I was so enamored with wrestling. So I would show up hours early and volunteer to, you know, you need chairs put up, you need the ring put up, you need the floor swept, you need the bathrooms, but whatever you need, please.
Right.
If I could just be a part of this thing, like, oh my God, that's a dream come true. And so after a year or so of that, they, you know, they would let me get in the ring after I helped set it up and stuff. And guys wanted somebody to bump to try stuff out, but you know, they didn't want to do it to each other. So I'm like, hey, this guy will bump for you. And I'm like, yes, I'll do whatever you want, man. So like, that's how I learned how to bump, was just to fall down for guys practicing stuff. And they, you know, like, and I just picked up a lot of stuff just sitting there, and, you know, mouth closed, ears open. And eventually when I was 16, it got to a point where, you know, they were doing a battle royal and they were short, and they said, hey, can you throw on a hood? Well, I'll throw on 6 hoods, whatever you need. You know? I'll be Snake Boy if you need me to. Whatever you like, let's go. So, and that's kind of just, you know, and that's where it started. But in '98, that was the beginning of '98. Well, in the middle of '98, I moved out to Georgia. Because my grandparents were out here. My grandfather was sick. My grandmother was sick. I didn't have a good home life anyways. And I had this big vision at 15, like, oh, I'll just move to Georgia and then get signed by WCW. Because that's what any logical 15-year-old child would think, right? So, I move across country, and I started doing local shows, and I meet John Phoenix, and he's the one who helped me get booked on other places and things like that. And so I give him credit for training me, but he wasn't my actual trainer. But like, he's still my dude. Like, it's funny, you know, like, you always hear like, oh, if you got 2 or 3 friends out of the wrestling business, then you've had a successful career. Right. Well, like, I mean, John Phoenix is like literally helped break me in, and I talked to dude yesterday. Wow. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So like, he's nice. He's just a great. I mean, it's funny because his career was only like 4 or 5 years. He had a short run here in Georgia. Wow. He never even wrestled outside the state. Wow. You know, and he did help train a couple guys, but I'm the only one that had any modicum of success. And so he always jokes like, dude, you're the one I didn't train, and you're the one who's got me the most name recognition. I know, well.
Most recognition.
I'll
Nice.
get back where I can.
That's awesome. I got a question for you. How was it like work? I said, how was it like working with Tony Mamaluke?
Oh my God.
That's my boy there too.
Tony's Tony's one of those guys that, like, when I first saw, I knew he was trained by Malenko because, like, I'm a self-professed wrestling nerd. So, like, whenever I see anybody, like, I try to do all the research I can. So when I saw him pop up in WCW as Tony Marinero, I was like, who's this dude? Why do I need to care about this dude? And, and I see he's trained by Malenko, and I'm like, oh my God, I couldn't imagine, right? And then he shows up in ECW, and he has that debut match against Mikey, where he does the dang twisting senton to the outside, nearly decapitates himself on the guardrail.
Exactly. Yeah. So I remember that.
Dude.
Yeah.
I like that dude.
Yeah.
So when he showed up in Wildside in 2002, and I'm like, oh my God, like, this is that dude. Like, I bet his wrestling IQ's incredible. Like, he's been in ECW, he's trained by Malenko, he's been to WCW. Like, I want to be this dude's best friend. So I'm like, hey, Tony, it's an honor to meet you. And he's like, don't ever talk to me again. Gotcha. So we always had this weird love-hate relationship. And then, but like, I was always such a fan of his work because, like, he's one of those guys that, Tony's 170 pounds with a brick in his pocket. His genetics aren't that of a heavy guy, but buddy, he's got heavy hands and he's the toughest dude in the room. Like,
sure is. I know for sure.
Yes, like, it's funny because, like, when he was at Wildside, he was also a bouncer at a club, and like a pretty big club here in Atlanta, and it's just like, when you walk in, it's 6'8", 300-pound, guy at the door, 6'8", 300-pound guy here, 6'8", 300-pound guy here, and there's Tony in the corner just posted up. Hey, Tony's the one I mess with the least. You know what I mean? I know, man. I'm gonna try my luck with Titan over here. But but I relate my relationship with Tony. Like, so Tony and I would ride the road sometime, and I would always just try to pick his brain because, like I said, he's a wealth of knowledge, and he always has that intensity. And that's one thing, especially when I was younger, that I couldn't figure out how to be intense and make it realistic. I was more cartoony, at least in my eyes, I'm my harshest critic. So, like, every time I'd see my match, and in my brain, I'm turning up in the intensity, but what I'm seeing is a guy that's not intense, just goofy. And so I tried to tap into that from him, because just like we were talking about with New Jack earlier, like, when Mamaluke's in the ring, you believe, like, the holds he's in, you believe he's putting these holds on, and he's trying to break an arm, and he's trying to, snap a ligament and stuff. And I always tried to figure out how to do that.
Right.
So I would pick his brain incessantly. And then one day we were backstage at a show in Florida, and Gabe Sapolsky, who was booking that show and booking Ring of Honor at the time, goes, "Hey, Sal, will you go stand next to Tony?" Yeah, sure. What kind of weird prank is this? So I go stand next to him. He goes, "Okay, that's all I needed." And I'm like, "Oh, all right, man, cool. That was incredibly weird. Thanks for sharing that with me." And so I think nothing of it. And then 2 weeks later, I get an email from Gabe. "Hey, I'm bringing you and Tony to Ring of Honor in October, putting the tag titles on you guys. What do you think?"
Nice.
What am I going to say? No, Gabe. I think that's a horrible idea. Yeah, let's try that and see if that shoe fits. And so, like, I called Tony. I was like, hey man, you talked to Gabe, and he was like, yeah, what are we gonna do? And I was like, be awesome. What do you mean? What are we gonna do? And he was like, well, we're just two completely different animals. And I was like, well, we'll make it work. We'll make it work. And like in my brain, and I had pitched this to Gabe, but he didn't like the idea. I wanted us to be called Sports and Entertainment. You know, where Mama Luke's the sports, you know, he's the serious, intense. It's a sport. It's real. And I'm the entertainment guy.
Right.
You know, and I'd be almost the lovable sidekick. I'd be, you know, because Mama Luke was so far on this side of the spectrum of intensity that I wanted to be the opposite. Yeah. You know, and that's what made our team work. Right. But Gabe didn't like the name because he was like, hey, it's too much like sports entertainment. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of the whole point. That's where I got it. Nailed it. But I tell people all the time, like my team with Mama Luke is kind of like cooking oil and sex oil. Like they're both really good when you use them the right way. Right. You don't want to mix those up. Can't. Yeah, exactly. You don't want to put that breaded chicken in sex oil. So like we had this weird dichotomy in the ring where it was legitimately, if you go back and watch the videos, right? Like if I'm in the ring, we're the baby faces, and as soon as I would touch out, the crowd would turn on us every time. And you know, like Tony was in such a weird head. So like he was insistent, like we got to do the Italian colors. We got to do the Italian colors. And I'm like, Tony, like it's Sal Rinauro. Yeah. And I was like, dude, we're Tony, Mama Luke, and Sal Rinauro. I think the Italian speaks for itself. I don't think we got to really hammer that. And he's like, no. And our theme's going to be the Rocky theme. And I'm like, I think they got the message, man. At least let's do Coming to, or, you know, Living in America or something. Let me get a little fun. Yeah, right. He was dead set on it. And I'll never forget. We were in Philadelphia, and we like this is like the second night we have the tag titles. So like this whole tag title thing is real fresh to us. And I'm in the back, and I see a bike, and I mean it's Dorothy's bike from The Wizard of Oz. Why it was backstage in this locker room, in a million years I will never be able to tell you. But it even had the little chute basket in the front. And I'm looking at this bike, and I'm like, Dave, how much heat would I get if I rode this bike to the ring? He goes, why would you ride a bike to the ring? I was like, why would a bike be in this building? We're overthinking this. Like, why not? Right. I go, there's a basket. I can put the tag title in it. It'll be a spectacle. And Gabe was like, sure, man. Why not? Yeah, right. So here we are. You know, Mama Luke's coming out to the Rocky theme, and here I come zooming by with 1950 Wizard of Oz bike with the ROH tag title. Oh my god! And we get the ring, and Mama Luke's like, "We're dead. This is never gonna work." Okay, man. The bike is over. Like they were changing bike of honor. Dude. I was like, this thing's gonna work, man. And it's funny. So like, really, we did our run through for about half a year, and then Mama Luke wanted to take time off, which was cool. But like, it's funny because now I'm closer to Tony Mama Luke than I was when we were a team. Like, he's a big sports guy. I'm a big sports guy. Okay. So like we're constantly texting each other just about, you know, like I grew up in LA, so I'm a Lakers guy, I'm a Dodgers guy, I'm a Raiders guy. Right. And so like he'll always, you know, he's all over the board, you know, he and sometimes he's a Knicks guy, sometimes he's a Bulls guy. It just depends on who's good. So right now he's a Knicks guy.
Wow. Tell Tony I said hello. Tell him Chili Willie said hello, please. Well, I haven't seen him in years. Oh my God, I haven't seen him in years.
He's just a fun dude to be around, though, man. And whenever I'm up in New York, I try to catch up with him. It's been a while because, you know, the pandemic, but I'm hoping to get up to New York at the end of the year. And I've already told them, like, yo, when I'm there, we got to get together at least for 20 minutes. So, but yeah, I love Tony. Yeah, I love Tony.
Awesome.
He's good shit. Good shit.
Hey, Sal, can you explain the story of you and Jeff Jarrett at Slammiversary?
So it's funny that you bring this up, just because I completely, like, I don't know how to say this without sounding like I'm bragging. It's not a brag thing, but like, I've done a lot of things in my career. Like, I'm very fortunate. I'm very blessed. I completely forgot I did this Jarrett thing until I did a podcast a couple months ago. And they were like, hey, remember that time Jarrett blasted you with a guitar? And I was like, oh, that did happen. That's awesome. What a reaction to getting hit with a guitar, right? So, like, that's one of those things. So, like, I grew up a bit, like, I dug Jarrett as a kid, which is funny because, like I said, like, I grew up in LA where, like, I was the white kid. Like, it's not like, I grew up in a bad area. So, like, I was the white dude. But, like, so I grew up in hip hop, like, the whole hip hop culture and, like the riots and all that stuff. Like, I was the same white dude during that. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm huge hip hop head, still a huge hip hop head. You know, like, my big plan for today is when we're done here, I got to get on the road, and I've already downloaded the new J. Cole album because, like, I can't wait. You know, like, I'm shoot excited about this thing. So, but like, as a kid, I see Jeff Jarrett, and I'm like, I love this dude. Like, I don't know what it was, like, just the whole country music thing. Like, I was fascinated by it. So, like, I'm a big fan of Jarrett. So, I was on a show in Alabama, and I get a call. Hey, and like, I had done a lot of stuff for TNA underneath prior to this. You know, like, I had done a ton of explosion matches. Like, I worked 3 Live Crew like 8 million times. You know, or like,
really?
At one point, like, I was their go-to guy. You know, like, they would kind of just be like, it was me and 2 other people every week, to the point where, like, Ron and Road Dogg would be like, just go ask Sal what we're doing. You know, I'm like, you'll get it with Conan, throw one duck, he'll eat that line, touch brother, up and over by Killings, you throw the line, he'll do the splits. What, you know, like, so they had known me, and I was in Alabama, and I get a call, hey, we got pay-per-view tomorrow, can you be there? And I was like, oh, here we go. Yes, finally getting that break. So I'm stoked. Like, yeah, man, I'll be there. I can't wait. So I get there, and Jeff pulls me aside. He goes, hey, I got a spot for you. And I'm like, oh my God, here we go. I'm about to get that deal. I'm about to get signed. And he's like, yeah. So this is the summer where Matt Hardy had gotten fired.
Oh yeah.
And there were rumors that Matt was going to show up at TNA. Jeff was already there. So, with the whole Edge Lita thing. So Jeff goes, yeah,
right.
I got this great spot where tonight's King of the Mountain, but I'm not going over. So I can't be in the match because I'm the King of the Mountain. I can't lose my own match. I'm like, oh my God, am I going to be in the King of the Mountain match? Like, how your brain starts working. Like, oh my, yeah. Okay, please continue your story, Jeff. And he goes, yeah. So I got to get taken out of the match. So I'm going to have you dress up like Jeff Hardy. I'm going to pull you over the guardrail and hit you with a guitar. And I was like, I mean, still, of course, yeah, man, I'll be more than happy to do it. Right. So yeah, like the big pay-per-view debut, at one point, like, I'm thinking I'm going to be in the main event for the world title, or I'm going to be in the crowd dressed up with face paint, doing the Jeff Hardy deal, eating a guitar shot, 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other, really. But yeah, it was super, super cool. Just because, like I said, like, I'm a huge Jeff Jarrett guy, so like, that was just getting to do something with him was cool, and it's funny. So like, I did extra work for WWE right before the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm in the back and Jarrett walks by and he stops and he, hey Sal, good to see you. Like it's so like still after all this time, like, yeah, Jeff, which is still like if you would have told 12-year-old Sal, like, hey, Jeff Jarrett's gonna not only recognize you, but like know your name and talk to you. Like that's mind-blowing stuff to me still to this day. Like that's not real. That's not how life works. So it's moments like that are like super duper cool. So but yeah, like that was like I said, I completely forgot I even did it until a couple months ago when somebody asked me about it.
Nice, man.
Awesome. How is it working in NWA Powerr under Billy Corgan?
So this whole thing, I mean, like when they had announced NWA was shooting in Atlanta, I kind of sent out a couple feelers because I'm an hour outside of Atlanta. So I'm like, well, let's just see if there's any opportunity there. And I never heard back. So I was like, well, I tried, A for effort.
Right.
What are you going to do? Well, they were taping Monday and Tuesday. The first set of NWA Powerr tapings were Monday and Tuesday. I get a message on Friday before, hey, can you make it to GPB Studios?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll be there. Like, all right, cool, you're booked. All right, cool, man. So, and like I said before, I'm a wrestling nerd, like when I'm usually watching wrestling nonstop, all of it, like it's just in the blood at this point. So I'll never forget walking into the studio that first time. And I mean, it's like I stepped out of the DeLorean, Marty McFly's at my side and I'm in 1985. I just like, it was one of those things where I couldn't oh my God, like I literally, so like I'm in this moment. I would give anything. This is one of those, like, it's too real to be real moments where I'm kind of standing in the studio that I grew up watching, and then Ricky and Robert walk by. And I was like, what is that?
Oh my God.
Right.
Yeah, and it's so like, and so I was just, it was such a cool experience. And I get there and I'm, saying my hellos and good to see yous and all that. And I look on the board and it's match 1, X and Y versus the Dawson brothers, right?
Awesome, North Carolina.
yeah, no, great dudes. I love them to death.
Yes.
So Crimson, who was our agent, pulls the match aside and goes, hey, X and Y, the X and Y, you're working the Dawsons first match. They're eating you, shine match, whatever. All right, cool. Well, have you guys seen the movie Hook by chance? Robin Williams is Peter Pan.
A little bit. No, I haven't seen the whole thing.
Yeah. So, well, and I only asked. So, at one point, I had quit full time in the ring, and I was only doing spot shows, and I was doing merchandise for TNA. So that was the full time gig, and in between, so this was like 2012 to 2014, where it was full time. I'm on the road with TNA, and I had put on a ton of weight. So, and then once I got off the road with them, I was like, man, I need to lose weight. So every show I would do, there's a scene in Hook where one of the Lost Boys finally realizes that old Robin Williams is Peter Pan, and he gets up in his face and he starts pulling on it.
Okay.
And he pulls his face back and he goes, oh, there you are, Peter. Well, once I got back into shape, that happened to me at every show I went to, where it was like, Sal? Oh, there you are, Sal.
Really?
So fast forward to the Powerr taping, and Crimson pulls this match aside because he's the agent. And he's talking directly to the Dawsons. This is their shine match. He should be talking to him. And so he's like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. Sal, is that you? What's up, Crimmy?
Wow.
And his whole demeanor changed where he was talking to the Dawsons and he was like, all right, Sal, look, this is what we need to do for this match. We got to get Mother over, blah, 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 blah. And so I'm like, okay, you know, that's 3-minute match, not a problem. You know, big guys, not hard to say, especially since they're good. So it's not just big guys that I'm falling down for.
Right.
It's big guys that can go. So it makes life a lot easier. And so as we're kind of putting together this match, Crimson goes, hey, are you here all night? I was like, well, what am I going to do? Leave it. Match 1 and then go to Taco Bell? Yeah, man, what do you need? He goes, do you mind doing another spot in another TV? No, man, I'll be happy to take all the TV time you'll give me.
Right.
So it goes from like X and Y versus the Dawson brothers to now I'm on 2 TVs.
Okay.
And you know, and now it's me and random partner against Mr. Anderson and Colt Cabana, and I've known Cabana. I mean, a long time too. So like, I got real lucky in that, like, I got put in situations where the guys that I were working with knew me and went out of their way to help. You know, even with the Dawsons, I didn't know them, but like Crimson had put me over to them, and you know, my whole thing about a match is what's the best, what works best for everybody. You know, in that Dawson's match, the whole match is designed to get these 2 scary guys over. It's not about me. I understand that. That's cool. You know, like my big thing in the match was like, he wanted to throw a big right hook. And I was like, well, do you mind if I do a springboard and you catch me with the right hook on the way down? Just because it's, you know, again, we're getting the desired result, but it's also showing like, hey, this guy's not a complete idiot. Right. And he was like, if you could do the springboard, I could throw this hand wherever. I'm like, all right, cool. You know, and so we did it. It went off, you know, seamlessly. So like, so like, that's my first night at Powerr. And I just think, you know, and that's it. Like nobody asked me to come back, nothing like that. And I'm like, okay, well, it was cool. You know, like I got to do it. I got to work in that studio in front of that crowd. You know, like my match with the Dawsons was actually the first ever Powerr match ever. So in the back of my mind, I'm like, that can never be taken from me. You know, no matter what happens from here on out, if I never get booked again, I was the very first match in NWA Powerr. That's a little cool thing that, you know,
definitely.
Yeah.
So when the next set of tapings are announced, I get hit up again, like, hey, can you do both days? Oh yeah, absolutely. Please. I'd be honored to. Like, that's really cool. And it's funny just because like that first set of tapings, there was like 40 extras. I mean, there was extras everywhere. And I was one of 2 that was brought back for the second set. So I was like, oh wow, that's a good sign. And so, and I'll never forget it. So I'm in the hallway talking to Caleb Conley, who I've known since he first broke in. Like, I've known Caleb forever, you know, and like I've tried to help get Caleb bookings when he was first breaking in. And yeah, I just know, I mean, he's just a good dude, and I've known Caleb for a long time. So we're in the hallway chatting up live. And as we're talking, I see Billy Corgan walking our way. And you're like kind of locked in on where we're standing. And so, you know, in my brain, I'm like, oh, well, he's coming to talk to Caleb about whatever important superstar thing superstars talk about. You know, so I kind of take the step back as Billy walks in, and Billy stops and looks at me and goes, hey, Sal, can we talk?
No shit, really.
What? Billy Corgan, how do you know my name? What was happening? Like, what? And so I'm like, yeah, man, what do you need? What's up? How can I help? Did I park in the wrong spot or something? Like, what did I do wrong? And he's like, oh no. He goes, hey, I just want to let you know, like, I like your stuff, and I'm interested in doing some character work with you, if that's okay. And like, if that's okay. No, that's not okay, Billy Corgan. I refuse to get any kind of push or recognition. How dare you? Like, yeah, man, that would be super awesome. Yeah, please. And he's like, okay, well, just know, like, you know, you've got a lot of fans here, in the crowd and in the back. So like, we're gonna explore, you know, using you more. I'm like, oh yeah.
Wow.
Okay, yeah. So
nice.
like, and it's, yeah, you know, like I'm so fortunate, you know, that I just happen to be in the right place at the right time with the right people. Like, you know, like, it's I'm not a big believer in luck per se. Like I think luck exists, but I also think if you put yourself in the right place, it's not luck. It's the end result of hard work, you know? Like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
So like I think there's a lot of elements that have gotten into me being where I am with NWA Powerr, but like it's still so like it's still like I get goosebumps, I get giddy. Like we've got our next set of tapings June 5th, the pay-per-view's the 6th and the 7th, you know, and I still get like I can't wait. Like, you know, like I'm 20 plus years into wrestling and I'm still like I got that nervous like energy, like I can't wait, you know, like like childlike enthusiasm.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, yeah, no, I can't say enough good things about the NWA Powerr stuff, man. It's awesome.
That's good, man.
What's been your favorite match?
Yeah,
so far out there.
Well, so like it's funny. So the last set of tapings we did, I ended up working with Aaron Stevens and his partner Kratos. I worked Kratos 3 times.
Wow.
We taped 8 episodes. I was involved in something on 7, which is like a huge deal. Like, you know, like that's the kind of stuff like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening to me. But like it's funny, a couple TVs before that, I had worked Aaron Stevens in a singles match, and he's another one of those guys that like, so like at this point, I like to do stuff that just validates what I'm doing to my children. So like when I can call home and be like, oh my God, guys, I'm wrestling Damian Sandow. Like, oh, that's cool. You know? That's what it's all about for me. So like I did a singles with Stevens, and he was super, super happy with it, you know? And again, it wasn't this long extended match, but it was exactly what it needed to be. I only got, you know, like maybe half an ounce of offense in, but like we're in the GPB. It was a weird submissions match thing that because he was trying to get over his karate stuff. And so we're in GPB studios in the heart of Atlanta, a block away from where they used to shoot the TBS show. And he's like, do you do a submission? And I was like, well, tonight I tease a figure 4. Cause like, what do we like, we're like, this is the perfect place, you know? So like we blah, blah, blah. He goes for a drop kick. I catch the leg. I start doing the Ric Flair strut in Atlanta. Like, you know, like what else am I going to do? Cobra Clutch? Like, get out of here. Like, you know, that's one of those things where like, I'm taking advantage of the situation given to me where I'm not doing an actual wrestling move. I'm not, you know, like, it's not like I'm doing a moonsault or something cool. I'm literally holding a man by the foot and strutting, and the crowd's losing their mind. And that's the character stuff that's getting me over, you know? So eventually down the road, when I get to have extended matches, now there's an investment in my character. And it's like, oh wait, this guy's not bad either. Like, so, but this last set of tapings we did, it was storyline stuff. I've been blessed with a lot of stories here at Powerr, but it was essentially a handicap match where it was me versus Stevens and Kratos, and it just everything worked better than I thought it would, and I mean, long story short, I end up getting the win, and that's the first time I've won on Powerr. And like, you know, and like it's funny to me just because like it's 2021, there's a lot of the secrets of the business that have been, leaked by this point. The internet's a thing. So like, but I'm real big. Like, I don't post stuff unless it's already aired, just because like I that's just keeping it true to me. Like as a kid, I hated spoilers. As an adult, I hate spoilers. So like, I don't want to be that guy for anybody else. So I waited until after the match aired on Fight. And then I posted the picture of me on the big cell with the referee holding my hand. And, again, it's 2021. The secrets are out. It's not like I really,
that's true.
real fought these guys and won. But that one picture, that one post has gotten like 8 times more reaction than anything else. I'll post pictures of my kids and they're like, yeah, that's cool. I post a picture of me holding my arm in victory after a fake fight. And everybody's like, oh, that's that dude. That's my dude.
Dude, that's so awesome.
Nice. Yeah.
Sal, where can people find you?
We had to get Cal Davis.
Oh,
hold on. We had to get Cal Davis up here, man, and tell him that you were coming on. He was all happy and shit.
Yeah.
We were glad to have him on also.
Dude,
We were glad to have him on. He's a blast.
So like when Kyle first broke in, it was while I was at Ring of Honor. He was training at the ROH dojo. And I was always real big, and this is just a me thing. Like, I don't even know if anybody else even cares to do it, but like, I'm always real big on trying to take the new kids under my wings, just to like, hey man, here's an idea, whatever. I'm real big on giving back. Just because like I said, I've been very fortunate with everything I've been able to do. I'm 5'7" and 180 pounds. Like, I'm not supposed to be that dude in this spot that I'm in. Like I'm very well, I have a lot of self-awareness when it comes to that. So like, I'm real big on just giving back because like, hey man, if I can do it, then anybody can do it.
Right. That's right.
So like, he was one of those kids that was in the ROH dojo. And so like, and those kids, especially then, man, they worked their butts off because they weren't just training; they were ring crew. They were running everything. So like, I always tried to make sure to let them know, like, hey, I appreciate you. You don't set up this ring, I don't have somewhere to perform. Like, that's a big deal to me. So I've known Kyle since way back then, and then he transitioned into backstage interviewer. And his backstage interview was with me. So like, we've always had that connection and we just get along. I mean, he's, like we have similar sense of humor and stuff. And we're just both, big wrestling fans. So like, it's funny because like we hadn't really been in touch, and it's just one of those things in wrestling where, you just can't stay in touch with everybody. Life's the thing that happens. And so I hadn't been in touch with Kyle in forever. And the first set of tapings I get there's Kyle. And I'm like, hey. And, and now, we talk all the time. And, I run all my crazy ideas by him. But like, Kyle's the best. And he had told me.
He's a good
guy. It's funny because he hit me up. He goes, dude, Chili Willie just asked me to be on his podcast. And I was like, no way.
No way.
I know he's a big ECW guy. Like, I'm like, dude, that's super cool. Like, no way. He was like, yeah, man. And then I think it was like a day later, you guys reached out to me. I was like, dude, Chili Willie asked me to be on his podcast. Yes.
Nice. That's awesome.
Dude, that's awesome,
man. Yeah, I'm glad you came on, man.
For real.
We really appreciate that you came on,
Oh, no. Thank you guys for having me, man.
It's been a man, that's awesome.
Dude, for sure, man. Where can people find you on social media, Sal?
You can find me at Sal Rinauro on Twitter. That's RINAURO. A lot of vowels. Pat Sajak loves me. You can find me on Instagram at Sal_Rinauro because I messed up making the first one. So there's an underscore. And you can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Facebook, Sal Rinauro. You can also find me on ProWrestlingTees.com/Sal Rinauro. That's
nice.
cheap plug. Buy a shirt. YouTube. That's about it. Yeah, I'm not super good on the social media stuff. I'm trying. Like I said when we got on, I'm not technologically gifted. I just got on Twitter like last year. My dude hit me up, and he was like, "Hey man, because I guess Enzo Amore had tweeted about my match with the match I was talking about with Sandown, and he was like, he could tag you in it if you were on Twitter." And I was like,
"Wow,
all right, man, I don't know." So like that's for the shoot. The only reason I even have a Twitter. So I'm trying to be more social media active.
There you go.
So we'll see. I make no promises, guys.
That's right, man.
Your action figures you're selling. Where can people buy that? The one that's behind you.
Yes, please. Thank you. Just hit me up any of my DMs. Like I said, at Sal Rinauro on Twitter, Sal_Rinauro on Instagram, Sal Rinauro on Facebook. Get you a Sal Pal.
Pal.
For real, like that thing. I have my own doll.
It is.
I've got my own doll. What can a boy say?
There you go.
Dude, that's so awesome.
You're a legend. That makes you a legend right there.
That's for real. Got it. Okay, now it makes sense.
No doubt. So we appreciate it, Sal. But you need to change it, man. You need to change your name. I'm telling you right now. Sal Ride the Pony.
I'll get on the phone with Billy Corgan and see what he says.
You tell him Chili Willie said that. Ride that pony.
Hey,
no doubt.
Me and Chili want to know if you can cut us a little promo shout out for the A&C podcast.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome.
This is your pal Sal Rinauro, and you are listening to the A&C Wrestling Podcast with your boys, Andrew Campbell and the ECW original. Your pal, my pal, Chili Willie. Do not miss out. This is off the hook.
Thank you, Sal.
We appreciate it, man. Tell all the guys, man. Tell some of the guys, tell the Pope, man. Who else is down there? The Pope. You might see CW down there.